reason, there was no audio. Okay, good. It's working.
Hello. How you doing, Gerard? No, I'm on the phone with community board meeting. All right, no problem. How's everything? All right, take care. I'm here.
Now, if you do need to mute yourself, there's a mute feature. We need to take another call.
Sandy, stop making a racket.
Yeah, and I have a meeting. Thank you.
Something happened up here. The light went out.
That's not.
What the hell is going on here?
This is Iris. Mark, I originally went on with my phone. I'm trying to get on my computer now, but I think you have to let me in.
The light went out.
Thank you.
I don't know what's happening. Now I have no light up here.
Julie, we can see you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Julie, we can see you.
Much better.
Oh, who's got the scotch? Not here.
I like your background, Nick.
I figured I'd keep it positive, inspiration. We'll get there one day.
Oh.
Okay.
Hey, Tracy, how you been?
Hello.
You hear me now?
Yes. Sound like a Verizon commercial.
Okay, so do we know if we have a quorum?
Yes, we have a quorum.
We do. Okay, excellent.
Did you count me in, Dr. Rimawi? You count me in?
Yes, I did, Dr. Maui.
Thank you, Josephine. Thank you very much.
You count me in?
So you're able to tell who's here by...
I looked at the participant list.
Okay, good. Okay. So then, should we get started?
Hold on then. If you're going to get started, let me work audio. Don't forget, guys, we are being live streamed as well.
Thank you.
Okie
Hear me?
dokie.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Am I still on? Good to go.
If you look at the beginning of
Okay. So we're going to start the meeting now. This is the April 20th, 2020 Community Board 10 General Meeting. And as always, I would like to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yay.
Yay. So if we have our graphic up.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, we can all.
If not, there's a flag behind me.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag and the United States of America and to the republic
For which it
stands
One
nation
under
God, indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I would like to call for an adoption of the agenda. So everyone's going to have to raise their hand virtually, and Mark will call on them so that we can. I guess Mark will do that because I'm not able to do it without conducting the meeting.
I could help too. Doris has her hand raised.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Second.
Okay, and thank you.
I seconded.
Thank you. And now an adoption of the minutes from the February 24th, 2020 board meeting. Do I have a motion? Michael Festa, anyone else?
Joe seconded.
Moved.
Brian Kazuba and Dave. Yes, excellent. Thank you. And now I'm going to move on to the public session. We're going to have to ask that everyone keep this to 2 minutes each person because we're going to try to get out at 10 minutes. So the first person I would like to ask to speak is Congressman Max Rose.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm going to mute everybody but a few people, so just give me a second.
They can hear me? Hey, can everyone hear me? Yeah? All right, good. I got the north south. I can't tell you how wonderful it is to see so many of your faces. I hope your family, your loved ones are staying strong, staying healthy. I will certainly respect the 2 minutes. Josephine, it's great to see you. First of all, to Andrew and Justin, who I know are also on the call, amazing job. You're tremendous leaders, everything you've been doing. We're blessed to have you as in office. To our law enforcement and just everybody else, thank you for all your courage you've showed recently. I just came off two weeks or so of National Guard service on Staten Island across the bridge at that testing site, as well as at a hospital that we were standing up. And just seeing the incredible courage from our medical professionals, it gives me a lot of hope that we're going to get out of this. Wanted to just give you a few quick items. First is fresh off the press. We were able to get Lenko Labs in Bensonhurst the authorization from the FDA to do antibody testing and all the equipment necessary to initiate antibody testing. One of the first labs, not only in New York City and New York State, but in the country, right here in South Brooklyn, to be initiating these testing. Now, enough, we're not, it's never going to be enough, but it's a start. My office has put out, I think, a wonderful resource guide centered around all of the financial and economic assistance being offered. We've all seen in the news what's happening with the PPP loan. We have to get that thing replenished. I'll be driving down to Washington, D.C. This week, fingers crossed, to vote to authorize that infusion of capital. But we've been resolute around the fact that is not the only thing that we should be doing. If we don't get out of this pandemic, we stand no chance of getting out of this economic crisis, because this is ultimately an economic crisis that was catalyzed by a pandemic. So our hospitals are in incredible financial distress throughout New York City. We have to get them more capital. We have to get more PPE to our frontline medical professionals, our people who we now call essential workers. They were always essential. And then we're going to keep on fighting for more and more and more economic assistance until we're out of this. Ultimately, I think the pathway is a gradual opening of the economy alongside continuing to build our healthcare infrastructure so we can allow for testing and contact tracing, while also making sure that people aren't going through economic distress even more so than they already are now. My office stands ready, willing to assist anybody. Many of you have my personal cell phone. If you do not, it's 917-502-0128. Again, that's 917-502-0128. That's this guy right here. I'm here day and night, whatever I can do. We're family. We're in this together. To close out this disease, this virus, it doesn't see race or creed or political affiliation. And I'm proud to say that we're uniting around defeating it. And I believe more so now than ever, this is the greatest city, greatest country, the greatest state in the history of the world. It's just a real honor to be here with you all and to see you all. Stay safe, stay healthy, and my love to you and your family. God bless. Thanks, Dorothy. So, you want me to unmute? Or am I good?
I think you're good.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. I'm gonna hang out for the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and Senator Andrew Gennardis, speak next.
Hey, good. Am I on? There we go. Is this thing on? All right, there we go.
You are on.
Good evening, everyone. To say what Max said, it's great to see everyone here on the screen. It's great that we can all be together, even though we're all apart. There's a lot going on, and a lot of it you guys know about. We are working in full coordination with Max's office and Justin's office and Matilda's office and Nicole's office. All the electeds across the neighborhood are working together to really help the neighborhood get through this. If you haven't seen it yet, I know that we shared this with the community board office. My office put together a bunch of resource guides about financial aid, family resources, all of the local restaurants that are still open and delivering food, the pharmacies that are delivering medicine for people. We've partnered with Bay Ridge Cares to do a volunteer operation to help deliver food, groceries, and medicine to people who can't leave their homes. So there's a lot of things going on. You can go, everything's right on our website. It's senatorgennardis.nyc/coronavirus. And we have tons of resources there that you can share with everyone in the community, not just in Bay Ridge, but across all the neighborhoods in Southern Brooklyn. We've done a number of town halls. We did a town hall on small businesses and just general response to the coronavirus. We did a town hall on mental health last week with Justin. We're going to do one on schools and education in the next couple of weeks as well. So there's a lot of things happening. On the response front, very concerned about what we're seeing with some of the nursing homes in our area, in Bensonhurst, in Sheepshead Bay, other parts of Southern Brooklyn, really trying to elevate the attention that's being given to nursing homes, and really alarmed by some of the stories we're hearing and seeing. And it's frustrating because they call us whenever they need masks, and then when we call them to ask the question, it's like they forget who we are. And I know a number of people on this call feel the same way because we've all been commiserating over that. So that's going to be a big focus and push in the weeks ahead. My office has gotten hundreds of phone calls, if not thousands of phone calls about the unemployment insurance issues with New York State's Department of Labor. Just last week, I put out 4 additional bills that I hope will address some of the gaps in the unemployment system that we've seen this crisis kind of show. People not being told that they're eligible to file for unemployment, people being put on 0 hours without being let go, things like that. So hopefully we can fill in some of the gaps that have been exposed in the unemployment safety net. And then lastly, I'm also working on legislation that is not ripe yet, but when we get through this, the big concern is going to be what do we do for the frontline workers on both the public sector and private sector who have been exposed to the virus, who have been sick, who have passed away, proper death benefits, proper health benefits, creating presumptions and workers' comp changes and things like that. So as chairman of the Civil Service Committee, this is something that we are very eager to get to work on. But unlike, Max has the ability to go down to DC, We have not been given the clearance to go back to Albany yet. I publicly called for us to go back to Albany. We're still waiting. There's a lot more that has to get done, and we know we're just the halfway point of the crisis. So my office is here to be a resource, be of assistance, anything you guys need. I'll echo Max's comments. I'm here to help anything you guys need. And in one bit of non-virus related news, I want to wish all of you a happy Constitution Day. Today, April 20th, 1777, New York State ratified its first constitution. So here's to 243 years of New York State. I just finished reading a great book called Order, Liberty, A Constitutional History of New York. Happy to let anyone borrow it on the call if you'd like. I know we all have a lot of downtime as well. Thank you, everyone. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay inside.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Senator Goodell. I'll be reaching out to you to borrow that book.
Anytime.
I know, you're always there when I reach out. Thank you. And next, Councilman Justin Brannan.
Thank you, Chair. Because I have to get over to a Constitution Day party. But just to echo what my colleague said, by now I think we all know someone who is sick, or someone who was sick, or someone who's died from this virus, and it's awful. There's no way to sugarcoat what's happening right now. The good news, as we all see, is that we seem to be coming down the other side of the mountain. The virus does seem to be slowing, but it's important to note that we're not out of the woods yet. There's a lot of talk about the data around testing and whatnot. I think there's a couple assumptions that we can make, which is there's more people sick than we think, and more people have died from this virus than we think. So we really do have to continue to take this seriously. Even if the weather is nice and you're feeling okay, this is not a time to resume your normal life. I think most New Yorkers, certainly everyone at this meeting, is doing the right thing and taking the threat of this virus very seriously. And it's because of you, not because of me, the politicians or the doctors. It's because of you, the public, the people, that we are turning the page and doing the right thing and hopefully coming down the other side of the mountain here. I think New Yorkers are famously tough, right? I think we all know is how to take things in stride. Staying inside and hiding is not our thing, right? It's not in our DNA. It goes against all our instincts. So I think it hasn't been easy for anyone, especially for those who don't have the luxury of staying home and staying inside. Our first responders, our cops, our firemen, our EMTs, certainly our healthcare workers, our nurses, our hospital support staff, grocery workers, everyone who's now an essential worker. A lot of people became essential responders overnight, but they didn't become immune to the virus overnight, right? So they're out there every day. I think about them every single day as we work towards getting out of this thing. Look, I know that there's a lot of people who are getting frustrated, a lot of people who are getting tired of the social distancing measures, especially if you're feeling healthy and it's a nice day outside. But social distancing has, without a doubt, prevented deaths. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And we're all in this together, right? It shouldn't have taken a virus for us to see that we're all bound in this thing together, but that's where we are right now, and it is what it is. So my office is there for you. We're working around the clock, delivering masks and gloves to people on the front lines, helping people with unemployment, all the stuff that the senator and the congressman said. Just trying to stick together. It's so great to see all you guys. It's like a family reunion, and I look forward to when we can all be hanging out again in person. So thank you guys. God bless you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Brannan. And now Captain Robert Conway from the 68th Precinct would like to say a few words.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yes. Thank you. All right. It's good to see a lot of faces that I haven't seen in a long time. I think I saw in the news today that the first case of the virus in New York City was 51 days ago. So that's a long time. So listen, I just want to give you an update on what's been going on crime-wise in Bay Ridge and Dyker Heights and 68 East. Right now, we are crime is pretty much where it was at this point last year. Although overall for the year, we are up in crime, roughly 12% for the year. But right now, the current day period, we're right where we were last year. We're actually down a few crimes. But the trend is going in the wrong direction. And what we are seeing is the biggest thing that we were concerned with once we shut down the city. Break-ins, commercial storefront break-ins has become a big problem in the recent period. If you think about Bay Ridge and Dyka, we probably have over 1,000 commercial locations. The ones that are being targeted the most are the ones that do not have the roll-down gates. So we're seeing a spike in these kind of crimes. When we retrieve video, more likely than not, the perp is covered. They have a surgical face mask, hoodie, and gloves. We have made at least one arrest. We are having problems keeping these perps in when we do arrest them. It's not just in Bay Ridge. We're also seeing this problem in our neighboring precincts, 7-2 precinct and the 6-6 precinct. So we're all working together. We're looking at, we find it's the same group of perps, mostly people with substance abuse problems. They're looking for the quick score. They'll break the glass and they get the easy score. We are working with many of the business owners. We're telling them, don't keep money in the business, especially if you close for a while and stuff like that. If they have video cameras, it's a big help. The borough, the overhead command that oversees Brooklyn South, they have given us extra resources to patrol at night. So I do have more marked police cars and also unmarked police cars. And we're putting them on the commercial strips, hoping to prevent and or catch the guys doing this. We are also seeing spikes in larcenies of autos. And I got to tell you that more than half of the cars being taken are cars being left running unattended. And this problem is probably due to the new technology now where people have the key fobs and they leave the car running, when they go into the store or whatnot. And then finally, package theft. We're seeing a lot of package theft inside of the apartment buildings throughout the precinct. This is a very hard problem for the NYPD to combat, considering the fact that it's indoors in these buildings. One thing that we got to stress to people is in this day and age, you really have to try to, have your packages sent to someone who's home, or if you order to Amazon, there's many places where you can use the Amazon lockers and stuff. But, I do understand, like, this, especially the older population may not understand fully how that works. But package theft is a big problem. And even after the virus is long gone, this is not a problem that's going to go away. The good news is violent crime. We're seeing less robberies on the street. We are seeing less felony assaults, even though that was something I was concerned about. I was concerned if we were going to see more domestic violence. But we're holding steady in that department, and I hope to, hope we maintain that.
Okay, thank you very much, Captain Comwell. We will now move on to our public hearing. I just want to note before we move on to the public hearing, Controller Scott Stringer's office did reach out to us for the public session. However, they submitted written submissions to us, which will be sent out with the minutes to the board members afterwards. So now I'd like to move on to the public hearing session. The first item is a renewal application for an enclosed sidewalk cafe at the Kettle Black. So Doris Cruz, our chair for zoning and land use, will be reporting on this. Doris?
Okay, the committee met in quorum, and the committee met in quorum. This is a renewal for an existing sidewalk cafe. There have been no issues, and it was unanimously approved by the committee.
Excellent. So it's the committee's recommendation to approve the renewal application for the sidewalk cafe. Is there any questions or comments on this? Okay. don't see anyone with a virtual hand up. So I will call the question. We have to do a roll call vote. So.
Hold on, you have a hand up.
Oh, okay.
Whose hand is up?
Michael Festa.
Michael, go ahead. Oh, you have to unmute, Michael. Michael, you're muted. There you go.
I made a mistake, sorry.
Okay, no hands. Mark, do we have any other hands up? Oh, Larry?
No, this is Consumer Affairs?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Sorry. Any other questions? Okay, so I will close the discussion and call the question. Again, we have to do roll call vote, so.
Okay, I'm going to begin.
Okay, so hold on. Everybody's going to be unmuted. So just wait until you hear your name, vote, and then mute yourself.
Okay, this is Josephine. I'm going to call the roll. Tracy Britton?
In favor.
Tracy?
She said in favor, Joe.
Okay, Jane Kapitanakis? Shirley Chin?
In favor.
Judy Collins?
In favor.
Hey, Doris?
In favor.
Ida?
In favor.
Richard Day?
In favor.
Michael Devine?
In favor.
Ann Salutico?
In favor.
Carmen Feliciano?
In favor.
Michael Festa?
In favor.
Barbara Gurmack?
Yes, in favor.
Diane Grenardis?
In favor.
Judy Grimaldi?
I don't think she's here.
Okay, Steve Harrison?
In favor.
Daniel Heddix?
In favor.
John Heffernan? Justin Hyatt?
In favor.
Jill? Insanolino? Brian Kazuba?
In favor.
Marty Lentz?
In favor.
Nick Leonardo?
In favor.
Anthony Marino?
In favor.
Nick Masab? Iris Muley? Iris? Nick Nicolopoulos?
In favor.
Susan Pulaski?
In favor.
Dr. Ramawi?
In favor.
Stephanie Simone Mahaney?
In favor.
Joe Sokolowski?
In favor.
Larry Stelter?
In favor.
Henry Stewart?
In favor.
Ali Taub?
In favor.
Janet Taub?
In favor.
Julie Thumb?
In favor.
Sandy Vallis?
In favor.
Barbara Vellucci?
In favor.
Lori Willis?
In favor.
Ed Yu?
In favor.
Thank you. That concludes the roll.
I did not. Can you hear me? Collins is on the line.
Excuse me. My name was
Stella? Okay, Stella, I'm sorry I didn't see you. I'll add you to the roll.
Collins is on the line. Can you hear me?
Yes, I could hear you, Stella. Thank you. I've added you.
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Excuse me, Josephine. I was not.
Yeah.
I was not called.
Yeah, I didn't.
I'm sorry, Ruth.
It's okay. I'm in favor.
Okay, I added Ruth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who was not called?
Was there any, has everyone been called?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is a new application to operate an enclosed sidewalk cafe at 10018 4th Avenue for Positano.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So, Doris?
Yep. The committee met virtually via Zoom on the evening of April 2nd, 2020. The committee met in quorum. I want to thank our chair, Lori, for encouraging the board and the committee to work virtually, and thanks to Josephine Beckman and Dorothy Garuccio for coordinating training on Zoom and for the committee and all the attendants. The first item on the agenda was for an unenclosed sidewalk cafe for Osteria Positana LLC, doing business as Positano, located at 118 4th Avenue, which is at the corner of 101st Street and 4th Avenue, for 19 tables and 38 seats. It is application number 10829-209 ASWC. Also in the attendance were Joseph De La Rocca, a 50% owner per the application, and his attorney, Michael Kelly. Many concerns were raised. Would there be sufficient sidewalk space? There were concerns about sidewalk crowding. The application currently has a license, an unenclosed sidewalk cafe, which is 7 feet and 2 inches. The enclosed sidewalk cafe would be 7 feet 4 inches. That is an additional encroachment of 2 inches and is within the Department of Consumer Affairs guidelines. The owner uses valet parking, and often there are multiple cars double parked on 4th Avenue. The valet parking service also places signs advertising valet parking in one of the driving lanes on 4th Avenue. Mr. LaRocca said that at peak times, the restaurant will employ, going forward, they will employ additional valet parking attendants. That this should alleviate the double parking. The owners in the past operated an unenclosed cafe without a license, and they continue to operate it knowing that this was not legal. They also operated an enclosed sidewalk cafe without a license for 2 winters. Mr. LaRocca claimed that at the time of those offenses, his partner was operating the restaurant. He was not the operator. It was not his fault. He says that now he's the sole operator and now is requesting a license for the enclosed cafe. Mr. LaRocca stated at the meeting that in 2019, he was the sole operator of the restaurant, and in 2020, he was the sole owner. The application for the sidewalk cafe will be glass and metal and is within the Department of Consumer Affairs guidelines. This structure raises other concerns. The current cloth awning has a section that can open to allow access to the fire escape. The applicant and his attorney said that there are modifications that can be made to the fire escape to allow access. There were also other concerns about access to the cellar doors on 4th Avenue. The enclosed structure would prevent access to the cellar from the street. These two safety concerns were of prime concern for the committee. Again, safety of the residents of 343 101st Street, the building that houses the restaurant, was the prime concern. The motion was made to approve the application with the following provision: pending approval by the Department of Buildings regarding fire escape access and cellar access. Any new structure must ensure the safety of all residents. The motion was seconded. Before we proceed with any further discussion and voting, I would like to add some information that was not covered during the meeting. While the applicant stated that he was now the sole owner, the application shows joint ownership. District Manager Beckman reached out to the applicant's attorney The attorney advised that they will be amending the application to show that the current ownership is a sole ownership. This was the first virtual meeting. A roll call was requested. The district office has the details of the roll call vote. The motion was approved, so was seconded, so we have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Okay. Are there any raised hands or any discussion?
No, I do not see any raised hands.
Wow.
Stephen has his hand up.
Okay. Yes, Steve.
Yeah, the motion that was on the screen as we were discussing, as you were giving the report, was a little bit jumbled. I'd like to know exactly what the motion is that we're going to be voting on.
Okay, I will.
Does it include the fact that they're going to amend that application? Because that's something we weren't told about, and I think it should be included in the motion.
No, that was not in the original motion. As I was doing my report and reviewed the application, I saw that the application had the original ownership of 50-50 with another partner. So we reached out. So our original amendment does not include any change, and possibly should.
So, Steve,
Will it also, just so I understand, it will also include we're saying that it's going to be safe, but is there anything specific both to the fireplace and to the cellar openings?
Hold on. I will reread the motion as I wrote it down and I heard it. A motion was made to approve the application with the provision that it is pending approval by the Department of Buildings requiring access to the fire escape and the cellar. Any new structure must include the safety of all residents, and this includes safety, and this includes access to the fire escape and the cellar.
Okay, I'm still wondering about the fact that he told us that there was no partner, but now there's a partner. This concerns me.
No, there isn't.
No, it's opposite. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. In the original application, he had a partner. When he spoke to us, he said he no longer has a partner. Josephine reached out to him, and he responded to her over the weekend and said they are in the process of amending. They will be amending the application to show that he has sole ownership.
Okay, then
Steve, are you suggesting a motion to
friendly amendment?
To amend the motion to include that the applicant agree to amend the application to show the current ownership?
I think that the motion should absolutely show the current ownership. And I'm a little bit concerned. He's making an application. He told us that even this way, he told us now that there was two people. Now he's telling us there's one person. Is there going to be a shadow here somewhere?
Okay, so are you making a motion to amend the committee's motion to provide that the applicant must change its application to reflect the current ownership? Is that your suggestion?
Where he put it?
To be honest with you, it's not so much my suggestion as I'm listening to it and I'm not really inclined to vote for it under the circumstances because I don't understand why we weren't told this. And it makes me very nervous, and I think we should have them back in to talk about it a little more.
Well, I just want to clarify, though, Steve. The initial application that was submitted to us and was submitted by the applicant was made in 2019.
Okay.
And the Michael Kelly, his representative, said it was really just a paperwork error. He said that he was told that there was a change, and he neglected to make that change on the application, and he was going to make it. I just want you to know that that bit of information.
Okay, thank you.
I want to reinforce what Steve is saying.
Why he neglected to make the change? I don't understand. He wants what he wants to do without. Why he neglected? Why he did not accept to change the application?
No, it's not that he didn't make the change.
Very strange.
No, he submitted the application in 2019. It took very long for the agencies, the Department of City Planning and Consumer Affairs, to process the application. It was during that time that the change in partnership was made.
But I think we need to know that
any more questions? Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, I think we need to know what I think there's a chronological, an order thing. We need to know who the ownership is before we go forward. And I support Steve's suggestion for amendment, and I think that should be a priority in the amendment, that our approval is subject to a change in the application to show the current ownership. And then our caveats.
Okay, just clarification, Steve did not suggest that.
Okay, he suggested something similar.
So we would need a motion from someone if someone wanted to make that.
I would adopt the motion that that Doris is suggesting.
Okay, so then Doris, you're making a motion to amend and Steve is seconding? Is that how I'm reading this?
As a chair, I've never made a recommendation to a committee. I would rather have someone else make the recommendation and another committee member or a floor member second it.
Well, the committee vote stands. So at this point,
it's a friendly amendment.
The motion, that's fine. The committee vote stands. But so Steve, would you be making that motion?
I make that motion, yes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandy. Okay, so now the motion is on the floor to amend the committee's recommendation to include that the application would have to be amended to show the present correct ownership. Is that correct, Doris?
Yes.
Okay. So can we have a vote on the amendment?
Okay, I'm going to call the roll.
Thank you.
Tracy Britton?
In favor.
Jane Kapitanakis?
In favor.
Shirley Chin?
In favor.
Judy Collins?
In favor.
Doris Cruz?
In favor.
Ida D'Amelio?
In favor.
Richard Day?
In favor.
Michael Devine?
In favor.
Ann Salutico?
In favor.
Carmen Feliciano?
In favor.
Michael Festa?
In favor.
Michael? Thank you. Barbara Germack?
In favor.
Diane Grenardis?
In favor.
Judy Grimaldi? Steve Harrison?
In favor.
Dan Heddix?
In favor.
John Heffernan? Justin Hyatt?
In favor.
Brian Kazuba?
In favor.
Stella Kokolis?
In favor.
Artie Lenz?
In favor.
Nick Leonardos?
In favor.
Anthony Marino?
In favor.
Nick Masab? Iris Muley?
In favor.
Ruth Mazer?
In favor.
Nick Nicolopoulos?
In favor.
Susan Pulaski?
In favor.
Dr. Romali?
In favor.
Stephanie Mahaney?
In favor.
Joe Sokolowski?
In favor.
Larry Stelter?
Recusal.
Henry Stewart?
In favor.
Ali Taub?
In favor.
Anna Taub? Julie Thumb?
In favor.
Sandy Vallis,
In favor.
Barbara Vellucci,
In favor.
Lori Willis,
In favor.
Ed Yu.
In favor.
Thank you. That concludes the roll.
Thank you, Josephine. So now,
Before I sign off, I would like to thank Mark Morris for his patience in training and assistance to the community board and its members.
thanks, Doris. So now the motion as amended is on the floor, and we need to vote on it.
Hold on, you have Stephen. Stephen has his hand raised.
Okay, go ahead, Steve.
I didn't know I had my hand raised, but I would have raised it. I have to, would you please restate the motion on the floor now?
Doris, would you kindly?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand. Could you repeat it?
Would you kindly restate the motion as amended?
Okay, it's the original motion. The original motion was to approve the application with the provision that it was pending approval of the building department. The motion is to approve the application with the submission of a new application, of amended application showing the current ownership to be the sole ownership by Mr. Della Rocca, and then pending the approval by the Department of Buildings regarding fire escape access and cellar access.
Okay. So, are there any questions, any discussion on that? Does anyone have a hand up? Okay, so I'm going to, thank you. I'm going to call the question. We will have to do another roll call vote. So Josephine, would you please do the honors?
Okay, will do. Tracy Britton.
In favor.
Jane Kapitanakis.
In favor.
Shirley Chin.
In favor.
Judy Collins.
In favor.
Doris Cruz.
In favor.
Ida D'Amelio.
In favor.
Richard Day.
In favor.
Michael Devine.
In favor.
Ann Falutico. Carmen Feliciano.
In favor.
Michael Festa.
In favor.
Barbara Germack. Diane Grenardis.
In favor. In favor.
Judy Grimaldi. Steve Harrison.
In favor.
Dan Heddix.
In favor.
John Heffernan. Justin Hyatt.
In favor.
Brian Kazuba.
In favor.
Stella Kokolis.
In favor.
Marty Lenz.
In favor.
Nick Leonardos.
In favor.
Anthony Marino.
In favor.
Nick Masab. Iris Muley.
In favor.
Hello.
Nick Nicolopoulos.
In favor.
Susan Pulaski.
In favor.
Dr. Ramawi.
In favor.
Stephanie Mahaney.
In favor.
Joe Sokolowski.
In favor.
Larry Stelter.
Recusal.
Henry Stewart.
In favor.
Ali Taub.
In favor.
Jana Taub.
In favor.
Julie Thumb.
In favor.
Sandy Vallis.
In favor.
Barbara Vellucci.
In favor.
Lori Willis.
In favor.
Ed Yu.
In favor.
That concludes the roll. Great, thank you so much. So the motion carries. Thank you very much, Doris, for your hard work and doing the Zoom meetings and keeping plugging along while we were temporary out of commission. And now we're moving on.
Lori, Stephen has his hand up.
Stephen, yes.
I don't know why it keeps coming up. I didn't hit anything. But...
Your hand down.
All right. So that concludes the public hearing. And now we're moving on to the chair's report, my report. So good evening, everyone. Our meeting is being conducted via Zoom, a video with an audio meeting, and it's live streamed to the public in accordance with the executive orders that were put into place. Last month's meeting was canceled due to the lack of a quorum occasioned by the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, and a number of matters were adjourned. Nonetheless, we've continued our work, and I'm very happy to have this meeting tonight. It's just so nice to actually see all of you. It feels like it's been a long time, and it has been for us because we usually see each other on a more regular basis. A nominating committee has been appointed, consisting of Judy Grimaldi as chair, Michael Beck, Bruce Mazer, Tracy Britton-Pitcher, and Susan Pulaski. It can be frustrating wanting to help out in this crisis, but yet do our part to stay indoors. Many are volunteering to help out in many ways, but we should remember that we can all help out by doing small things that really do mean a lot, like reaching out to people we know and offering whatever support we can, even if the only support we can offer is emotional. Many are feeling the economic impact of this, so if you're able, please call up your local restaurant that you go to, your grocer. A lot of them are still offering delivery and pickup, and they are very needful of your business right now. Some retail businesses are changing to internet sales. A lot of gyms and yoga studios are giving classes online, virtual classes, so please give them a call. Your social distancing patronage will help everyone involved maintain some normalcy and also help us all to survive this crisis. One quick plug, please go to mycensus2020.gov and participate. It's even more important now. Please keep spreading the love and the support to all of those who go out the door every day and place themselves in the path of this virus so that we can stay home. It is so good to see you all, as I said, and I'm really glad you're here. And thank you for attending, and stay well. Respectfully submitted. And now we are moving on to the district manager's report. Josephine?
Thank you, Lori. So I just want to echo what Lori said. I'm very happy to be here tonight and seeing everyone on the Zoom platform during this unprecedented time in our city. I just want to share that the district office is working remotely from home, and we've been responding to residents' concerns. While we continue to receive routine service delivery calls this month, we also heard from adults and seniors facing an unexpected need of delivered meal assistance, and we were delighted to be able to help connect those in need to services. I want to shout out to the Bay Ridge Center for older adults, who really was, very helpful in stepping up, as well as Bay Ridge Cares, and as well as the City of New York and the grab-and-go meals offered at the Department of Education, several sites in the district. Our e-newsletter continues to grow in membership and has been a great way of communicating to residents. We've got tremendous feedback from residents who appreciate the updates during this unprecedented time. And I just want to really recognize the many volunteers in the community and essential workers throughout the great city and our great country. And I want to say again, I'm just so happy to be here, everyone. My report's a little short this month. I'll continue to send email blasts and updates to you. And our next general board meeting is scheduled for Monday, May 20th, and most likely will be on a Zoom platform. So thank you. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you, Josephine. And now our treasurer's report is going to be distributed with our meeting minutes as well. And so we're just going to move on to the committee reports. And the next report is the Police and Public Safety Committee report with Barbara Vellucci, our chair, who has been very, very busy. So Barbara, I thank you. And so moving on to your next item. Barbara?
Hi, everybody. As you know, my reports are quite extensive, so sit back and make yourself comfortable. But we have a new application for wine, beer, cider license for Mikawa Japanese Fusion, Inc. The premise is located at 7407 3rd Avenue. This is a new application for a restaurant and wine license, as there is a transfer of ownership for this establishment. The owner application, Wei Shen, was present at this hearing. The operation of this establishment is a full restaurant. This restaurant has 4 tables and 24 seats. After a discussion period, the committee's decision was to deny this application unless the owner agreed to the following stipulations. Premise will continue to operate as a restaurant. The certificate of occupancy will be acquired, and/or there will be a letter of no objection on hand, and it is a letter of no objection. The hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., Friday, 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m., Saturday, 11:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m., and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. The doors and windows are to remain closed in coordination with any amplified music. The background recorded music remain below the level permitted by the NYC Noise Code. There will be no music on the outside of the premises. The license shall not use any promoter or have promoted events. There will be no smoking permitted. The applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, it will give notice and meet with the community board committee at least 45 days in advance of any such change. And this applicant has agreed to all stipulations. So this committee requests a motion from this board to deny this application unless the stipulations are adhered to.
Okay, so did you meet in quorum, Barbara?
Yes, sorry. Yes, we did have a quorum.
You did.
On March 9th.
You did or you did not? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
We did. Yes, we did.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, so then the motion is on the floor. So are there any questions or comments? Do we have any hands up? Mark, do we see anybody with a hand up?
No, I don't.
Okay, so then we're ready for the vote.
Steven, do you want to raise your hand?
My back and legs are bothering me. I wanted to walk. So I got out for another walk.
I see you, Habib.
Okay, great. I barely made it from 7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So Josephine, I think we're ready for the roll call.
Okay. Roll call. Tracy Britton?
In favor.
Jane Kapitanakis?
In favor.
Shirley Chin?
In favor.
Judy Collins?
In favor.
Doris Cruz?
In favor.
Ida D'Amelio?
In favor.
Richard Day?
In favor.
Michael Devine?
In favor.
Ann Paluco? Carmen Feliciano?
In favor.
Michael Festa?
In favor.
Barbara Gurmack? Diane Grenardis?
In favor.
Steve Harrison?
In favor.
Dan Heddix?
In favor.
Justin Hyatt?
In favor.
Brian Kazuba?
No.
In favor.
Stella Kokolis?
In favor.
Marty Lenz?
In favor.
Nick Leonardos?
In favor.
That's right.
Anthony Marino?
In favor.
Habib Judah?
In favor.
Ruth Mazer?
Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Iris Muley?
In favor.
Nick Nicolopoulos?
In favor.
Susan Pulaski?
In favor.
Dr. Romali?
In favor.
Stephanie Mahaney?
In favor.
Joe Sokolowski?
In favor.
Larry Stelter?
In favor.
Henry Stewart?
In favor.
Ali Taub?
In favor.
Jana Taub?
In favor.
Julie Thumb?
In favor.
Sandy Vallis,
In favor.
Barbara Vellucci,
In favor.
Lori Willis,
In favor.
Ed Yu.
In favor.
This concludes the rolls, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so Barbara, next item on the agenda.
Yes, it is a new application for a beer tavern license for Rocco's Brooklyn Bakery, Inc., doing business as Pasticceria Rocco. Premise is located at 9402 4th Avenue, of course, in Brooklyn. This is a new SLA application for a beer tavern license for this establishment. The applicant owners, Rocco and Patricia Generoso, were present at this hearing. The operation of this establishment is a full restaurant. This restaurant has 15 tables and 30 seats indoors and 7 tables and 14 seats outdoors. After a discussion period, the committee's decision was to deny this application unless the owner agreed to the following stipulations. The premises will operate as a restaurant with an outdoor cafe. The certificate of occupancy be acquired and/or a letter of no objection be on hand. The hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Friday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. The doors and windows are to remain closed in coordination with any amplified music. The background recorded music remains below the level permitted by the NYC Noise Code. There will be no music on the outside of the premises. The licenses shall not use any promoter or have promoted events. There will be no smoking permitted. The applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, it will give notice and meet with the community board and committee at least 45 days in advance of any such change. The applicant has agreed to all stipulations. So this committee requests a motion from this board to deny this application unless the stipulations are adhered.
So Barbara, you met in quorum, correct?
Yes, this is all on the same night. We're all in quorum.
Okay, great. So the motion is on the floor. Do we have any questions or comments? Discussion.
There is so much noise. Why they make a noise? Very annoying.
Yourself.
A lot of noise.
Mark, do you have any hands up?
I see Doris with a hand up.
Is there sufficient,
What is all the noise?
Is there sufficient sidewalk clearance on the side street?
All the time.
Yes, they've had it before.
Okay, Barbara, I heard you say yes, so that's enough. Fine, okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. It was a little bit noisy. I couldn't hear.
All the noise.
I couldn't hear what the question or the answer was, because I had a question about the sidewalk as well.
Yeah, she asked if there was enough room to walk on the sidewalk. I said, yes, there was.
So let me ask the question. Did they already have an approved sidewalk permit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Okay, any other questions?
You have the wrong slide on?
Yeah, there was.
Tom said there was the wrong slide was on.
From the prior application, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
There's a slide
I
for the
don't
new
see any other. I'm sorry, Larry?
Is there a slide for the one we're talking about?
Yes, there is a slide.
Yeah, can we put up the graphic?
Who is it?
It's Pasticceria Rocco.
Rocco's.
I can't even say it. Rocco's.
Rocco's Pasticceria.
Oh, very good.
Thank you.
That's the same one.
One more, different one. Maybe the next one.
That's
it.
That's the one. That's the one.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments?
No.
No.
No? Okay, so I'd like to call the question. Josephine, would you please do the roll call?
Yes. Roll call. Tracy Britton?
In favor?
Jane Kapitanakis?
In favor?
Shirley Chin?
In favor?
Judy Collins?
In favor?
Doris Cruz?
In favor?
Ida D'Amelio?
In favor?
Richard Day?
In favor.
Michael Devine?
In favor.
Ann Falutico? Carmen Feliciano?
In favor?
Michael Festa?
In favor.
Barbara Gurmack? Diane Grenardis?
In favor?
Steve Harrison?
In favor?
You skipped Judy Grimaldi.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judy Grimaldi?
In favor?
Dan Heddix?
In favor.
Justin Hyatt?
In favor.
Habib Judah?
In favor?
Brian Kazuba?
In favor.
Stella Kokolis?
In favor?
Marty Lentz?
In favor?
Nick Leonardos?
In favor.
Anthony Marino?
In favor.
Ruth Mazer?
In favor?
Iris Muley?
In favor?
Nick Nicolopoulos?
In favor.
Susan Pulaski?
In favor?
Dr. Romali?
In favor.
Stephanie Mahaney?
In favor?
Joe Sokolowski?
In favor?
Larry Stelter?
In favor.
Henry Stewart?
In favor.
Ali Taub?
In favor.
Jana Taub?
In favor?
Julie Thumb?
In favor?
Sandy Vallis?
In favor.
Barbara Bellucci?
In favor?
Lori Willis?
In favor?
Ed Yu?
In favor.
That concludes the roll.
Thank you very much. Barb, next item, please.
Yes. The next is very short. Is an alteration of application for liquor, wine, beer, and cider for Phoenix, 8201 Inc., doing business as the Pearl Room. Location is 8518 through 8520 3rd Avenue. This hearing was held regarding this establishment as there was a request of a change of corporate shareholder. Although the appropriate notification and paperwork was completed in a timely manner on behalf of the Community Board Office, the applicant submitted an incomplete application and no one called to postpone or to attend this hearing on behalf of this establishment. The committee voted to deny the application, and we request a motion to support the recommendation of denial from this board.
Okay, so the motion is on the floor. Do you have any questions or comments? Mark, do you see any hands up?
What's the motion again? I'm sorry.
We've denied the
deny
to the Pearl Room. They did not show up.
That's you want him to bring.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara.
Okay, any other questions?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm going to call the question. Josephine, would you kindly?
I don't know.
Yes.
Second, but I don't
Tracy
know.
Britton?
To bring the
In
bus.
favor?
No.
Jane Kapitanakis?
In favor?
Shirley Chin?
In favor?
Judy Collins?
All you bus.
Doris Cruz?
In favor?
Ida D'Amelio?
In favor?
Richard Day?
In favor.
Michael Devine?
In favor.
Ann Salutico, Carmen Feliciano,
In favor.
Michael Festa,
In favor.
Barbara Gurmack,
In favor.
Diane Bernardis,
In favor.
Judy Grimaldi,
In favor.
Steve Harrison,
In favor.
Dan Heddix,
In favor.
Justin Hyatt,
In favor.
Habib Juday,
In favor.
Brian Kazuba,
In favor.
Stella Kokolis,
In favor.
Marty Lenz,
In favor.
Nick Leonardo,
In favor.
Nick Masab, not here. Iris Muley,
In favor.
Nick Nicolopoulos,
In favor.
Susan Pulaski,
In favor.
Ruth, did I get you? Ruth Mazer,
In favor.
Dr. O'Malley,
In favor.
Stephanie Mahaney, Joe Sokolowski,
In favor.
Larry Stelter,
In favor.
Henry Stewart,
In favor.
Ali Tao,
In favor.
Jana Tao,
In favor.
Julie Thum,
In favor.
Sandy Vallis,
In favor.
Barbara Vellucci,
In favor.
Lori Willis,
In favor.
Ed Yu.
In favor.
That concludes the roll.
Thank you very much, Josephine. And now, Barbara, you have one more item. Please go ahead.
Yes, I have one more item, and it is quite extensive. This is an application for a renewal application for Tracy Blaze, doing business as Lone Star Bar and Grill. The premise is located at 8703 Fifth Avenue. This is a renewal application for a liquor, beer, wine, and cider license for this establishment. The owner, Miss Tracy Blaze, and Mr. Tony Gentili were present. The operation of this establishment is as a full restaurant. The certificate of occupancy for this address is noted as none, as the old one from 1949 is deemed unreadable, and there is no permit for public assembly, as the partially filled out application noted 75 as a C of O. There was no menu, photos of the establishment, or hours of operation in the incomplete application. Ms. Blaze verbally told us that the hours of operation are Monday through Sunday, 11 a.m. through 4 a.m. This new application did indicate that there was no licensed outdoor area. There has been an adverse history connected to this establishment regarding the use of the yard associated with this address and the two neighboring yards. Both Ms. Blaze and Mr. Gentili signed and agreed to stipulations regarding the renewal of the SLA license as recent as March 2018. In September of 2018, Ms. Beckman wrote to Mr. Bradley from the New York State Liquor Authority regarding the fact that Ms. Blaze and Mr. Gentili are not abiding to the stipulation agreement signed in March. This agreement addressed over 128 noise complaints to 311 and 15 calls to 911 for disorderly groups. The 311 calls, there were 70 for 2017, 39 for 2018, 12 for 2019, and 8 for 2020. Mind you, this meeting was held on March 9th. 2 calls to 911 in 2020. The establishment is continuing to use its rear yard and had expanded its business into at least 2 abutting yards. These yards included a mounted TV, outdoor grill, and speakers for outdoor music. Alcohol is served and smoking goes on in all 3 of these yards, which is a violation of its SLA on-premise license. There were large fights and disorderly conduct reports outside of the establishment. At this meeting, March 9th, there were 2 residents present. One gentleman stated that although there is still noise, there has been an improvement. Another resident stated that the noise and use of the yard is ongoing. Ms. Blaze and Mr. Gentili claim the yard is no longer being used. Mr. Gentili suggested that the noise is coming from neighbors using fire escapes. This second gentleman showed us pictures from the back of the property as he faces the yard. As of this date, there is a canopy, tarp, tending the yard so that you cannot see in. I asked Mr. Gentili if he would take the tent down. He stated that he cannot afford to do this. We have pictures of the yard decorated for this year's Super Bowl. I asked Mr. Gentili why would he decorate the yard if it was not being used and there is a stipulation for the doors to remain shut. He said that the decorations were for aesthetics. In fact, Ms. Blaze's Facebook page on February 2, 2020, clearly shows the yard in use and the person recording the Super Bowl party, stating that she is recording a video from the yard and proceeds to record a video through the inside of the bar. This resident also showed us additional pictures of the yard, capturing tremendous amounts of tree debris and what appears to be hundreds of black bags of garbage. Mr. Gentili stated that he cannot afford the carting company. He also stated that he gets rid of garbage as he shows me a picture on his cell phone of an overflowing dumpster in front of this establishment. He stated that that picture was from a few months ago, and this, as you would know, is a violation. This resident also stated that there is much noise emanating from the main dining room. Ms. Blaze stated that the front garage door is always closed, except when a person who is handicapped needs to enter the premise. One committee member passed by the establishment on his way home from this meeting and took a picture of the garage door that was wide open. Mr. Vallis, a member of this board, also showed us a video of the members of the Lone Star establishment carrying several dozen black garbage bags to his property across the street during the night. He has received several sanitation violations because of this. Ms. Blaze and Mr. Gentili have disregarded all prior stipulation agreements that they have made with the community board and have failed to abide by SLA regulations. The blatant violations continue from approximately 2010. In light of the facts that the recent application was incomplete, the rear yards continue to be used as an extension of the restaurant where the violation of use, smoking, and the serving of alcoholic beverages continue. The numerous calls to 311 and 911 regarding noise complaints and fighting. There was also a very serious fight there this past May of 2019. The serious Department of Health / sanitation violations regarding the hoarding of garbage on the property instead of contracting a private carting company, as all establishments are required to do. This committee voted 6-1 to deny this SLA renewal license. And therefore, the committee requests a motion and approval from this board to accept this recommendation of denial. Thank you.
Okay, so the motion is on the floor to deny the renewal of this application. Are there any questions or comments? I'm sorry, a renewal of this liquor license. Are there any questions or comments? Nick Nicolopoulos.
So what's the process if assuming we deny, and can they still get the liquor license if we deny?
Yeah. Well, Josephine, do you want to speak to that?
So I'll speak to that, Nick. I did look at the SLA website, and it is noted that Mr. Gentili has already received his renewal. despite that there are several outstanding violations on his license, that we're awaiting adjudication of those violations for the fight in May, as well as SLA violations issued for violating the or extending his premises in the backyard.
So what does a resident, may I speak? Am I good? Okay. What does a resident in the surrounding property, what rights do they have in a case like this? If the SLA is doing independent things than the city, than the police department, than the fire department, what prevents every bar in our district or citywide to do exactly the same thing?
Well, I would say that it's a very slow process. We have been, I think we have to stay on top of him and demand from the State Liquor Authority that they adjudicate these violations. And I think that's all we can do at this point as a board. Lori?
I mean, this has been ongoing, even when, I was chair of this committee, Nick, you were on the committee as well.
Yep.
There have been, the SLA came out, they issued the violations, the adjudication process takes a very, very long time, and they're not going to pull his license or take any action, for that matter, until those violations are adjudicated. The residents who have shown up in the past have called 311. They've called, about noise complaints, et cetera. There were building department violations. And it's just, everything takes a very long time to adjudicate. And except for the SLA violations, the fact that he is using 3 backyards, which are not part of his licensed premises, none of the other violations rose to the level of where, they would shut down an establishment for those types of violations. So we await the SLA, and all we can do is keep asking what's going on. Obviously, in this climate, it's more difficult, to get progress right now while New York is on hold.
So I'm going to stand with the same exact thought process as we did with one of the recent karaoke bars. Because of serious safety concerns for life, and the city becomes reactive instead of proactive, I want to make it loud and clear about our voice against this, because it's only a matter of time until something catastrophic happens, and then we're going to look back and the city's going to jump on it at that point. Again, I'm in favor of the chair, the committee's vote.
Okay. Anyone else would like to speak on this motion?
Yes, Laura, hold on. You have Doris first.
Lori?
Yes.
Lori Ida.
Yes.
I have a question. Are they operating right now during this coronavirus?
I don't believe so. Actually, I had driven by and I did see them open, but I do believe that our police department is out, and establishments that would be open in violation of the current executive orders would be shut. So I have no knowledge that they are. I don't believe that they are. Joe, have you heard anything?
No, I have not.
No, I just
okay.
I was just curious. Okay.
Anyone else?
Okay, Doris.
Okay. The buildings department isn't taking any action. The Department of Health isn't taking any action. Department of Sanitation isn't taking any action. What can we involve the fire department? But there are serious issues, that they could help with.
We could absolutely do that, Doris. I just want to let you know that we did notify Department of Sanitation. Violations were issued. Department of Buildings has issued violations, and I believe a resident has made an additional complaint there as well. But we will add the fire department.
Thank you.
Julie.
Ruth made her hand up.
Okay, so I want to speak to that. For what's been said so far. I remember when they came before us in 2018. One of the things that concerned many, many people was the fact that there was no egress from the backyard. The backyard that goes between all the buildings and combines everything. Everybody was pretty horrified when we found out that if something came up, people would not be able to exit through the backyard. And I think that's certainly something for the fire department to get. It's illegal.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes. Hold on, please.
Habib?
Lori, can we do this in order? Because I have about 5 hands up.
Sure, go ahead. Just pick them.
Okay. Julie.
Yes, I was wondering, I mean, I have not encountered this before, and, you know, since I'm one of the newer people on the board, how is it that the SLA does not take into account any of the other issues with this establishment? And also, when did they actually issue the license, and when did they do it? Did they do it in the last week, or when did that happen?
You mean the renewal?
Yes, they issued the renewal within the last 2 weeks.
April 1st.
April 1st.
April 1st, when, okay, so we weren't under, were we already under quarantine? I don't. So
yes.
They had the ability to issue a license, knowing all this was wrong in this situation? It makes no sense whatsoever.
Right.
And then a further question I would say is, you know, what do we have as the community board? What are we going to be powerless in this? Or, you know, is this superfluous, what we're discussing here? Or are we going to be able to do something?
Well, okay, I don't ever think it's, you know, we are an advisory body. But what we are good at doing is reaching out to the various agencies and letting them know what's going on and having them come in and enforce their specific areas of enforcement. So, for example, Department of Sanitation gave some violations. The SLA did come out. This was, gosh, I don't remember how long it was, Josephine. Observed that the 3 rear yards were being used with no license. They did issue a violation. But historically, the SLA is very slow to hear these things and hear out the matter and bring it to fruition. There were Department of Buildings violations, which at past meetings, you know, members were very concerned about. And what we could do is just, again, try to seek enforcement. I think we had done a couple of multi-agency requests for enforcement in the past, didn't we, Joe?
Yes, we did, and we have one pending now. But with the coronavirus, with COVID, I mean, certainly, I don't believe they're operating, or they may be operating now just as delivery. But in the May, there was a May large fight. There were also several arrests that were made in May at the establishment.
So we continue to seek enforcement, and it is frustrating. It's insanely frustrating how long this has gone on. And I do share Nick Nicolopoulos' concern. Anybody else?
Brian?
So, I mean, it's clear to me that the way the SLA has handled these things in some in the past, that they're not probably acting in the best of our good graces. And the question I wonder is it time to send a letter to our partners in state government, Andrew, Matilda, and Mark, sorry, I'm blanking her name, to actually try to call an oversight committee for the SLA to look into their practices and how they're actually reacting to these things, to see if there's something better that they can be done, because unless the state government looks into how they're handling this, nothing's going to change.
Well, we have been in contact, actually, just again, because the issue did come up again now with the renewal just before we are, New York on hold. We were in touch and speaking with Councilman Brannan's office about it. And the SLA has issued violations. They did actually go there. They viewed the condition and issued the violations. It's a question of how long it takes them to have the hearing to, actually have it adjudicated. So, to the extent we can get oversight on that, I'm not quite sure. It's something we could inquire about.
I mean, it happens all the time, and the state has oversight hearings on different entities and bodies, and I think this is something that they should look into to potentially see what they can do to force the issue and force their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Do it on the state level, not on the city level.
Okay. That's a good suggestion, something we can look into. Anyone else?
Stephen?
Yeah, I think that our role right now is to vote on the motion that's before us. I think that failure to pass this motion would be governmental and community board malpractice. So I think we should vote on this, and I think that after that, maybe we should put a committee together to determine what to do with all the other very good suggestions that are being made here right now. But our job right now is to vote on this.
Okay, anyone else?
Sandy? Yes, I would like to go on record and just say how disappointed I am that the SLA issued this license before hearing from the community board, and they did it during the COVID-19 outbreak when the city is virtually shut down, but they found the time to issue a license to a person that does not care about his neighbors, does not care about any law regarding any city agency, because as we heard, every city agency, virtually every city agency has issued violations on these premises, and the SLA just does not care. If there is a committee formed, I would like to sit on it. This gentleman does not deserve to be in business. I'm all for business. I'm all for giving people the benefit of the doubt, but this guy is just thumbing his nose at every city agency and this community board as well. And I'm just very disappointed at the disregard that this owner of the establishment and the city has for the citizens of the city of New York.
We'll work on it. Thank you, Sandy. Anybody else?
Julie.
I just had one more quick question. Are there any Board of Health violations?
Barb, I don't
know that answer, Julie. I'll find out for you.
Because maybe we could get the Board of Health to close them down.
The frustration at this point was that this license came up for renewal, so it was not an issuance of a new license. And really, those things are fairly pro forma with the SLA, unless there is, significant adverse history of community opposition, because this did coincide with, our operations being shut down because of COVID-19. The office did send a letter, however, to the SLA, just setting forth the prior history so that they would, be aware of it and at least have it on record, despite the fact that we could not, get a board vote going on the renewal. But I do think that it, I do think including all of your comments in a response to the SLA would be a good idea. So are there any other questions or comments on this motion, which would the motion on the floor to the recommendation of the committee is to disapprove this renewal application?
Can we attach a petition?
Hold on, somebody.
Oh, God, wait, we have.
Here we go. I see a physical hand up.
Yes.
Habib?
Yes, go ahead, Habib.
I would like to go on record to please, if we can do, as Steve said, with the committee to send a letter to the SLA authority demanding that we should be consulted before any renewal or any license would be issued in our neighborhood. I would recommend that very, very, very hard.
Okay. Thank you. So do we have any other questions or comments? Okay, so Josephine, would you like to call? We're going to call the question, and so it is the committee's recommendation to disapprove this application, even though we know now, post that this was granted. I would like to make an amendment, or offer an amendment to that motion, that the disapproval, and I would also like to suggest that a letter go along with it to the SLA, setting forth the things that we have documented that have gone on even since the committee's meeting. So I'd like to go. Thank you, Doris. So, any more further discussion or comment on that motion? Okay, so Joe, can you roll call? Julie, I'm sorry.
Larry.
I sent it in the chat. I just asked if we could attach a petition to that letter. Thank you.
Are you saying of board members, or
of board members, or of maybe people in the surrounding area? Sandy Vallis obviously is one of the people very concerned. He's a board member and he has property there. So, you know, I don't know, but I just thought maybe that would make it more effective.
I'm not sure if we can do that, because we would have to wait to go out and get a petition signed in a lockdown situation. I don't know if it's feasible right now in time.
It could be put on, it could be emailed, or, you know.
I mean, maybe it's something we can follow up with on committee, you know, later on.
This is Judy. I think, Julie, what you might be is with the denial, can we do a report? Of course, we would add a report, and within the report, comments would go into it, Julie. So we would be able to make our displeasure, not just deny, but deny with an explanation. And that's commonplace, is it not, when we send in our response?
Yeah, that's what we would normally do. Yeah.
Great. That's what we're gonna do.
Larry?
Let's vote on the denial and finish, and then the committee will further investigate.
I'm sorry, Stella, hold on. Larry, go ahead.
No, I mean, this is a fait accompli. It's almost a charade. It already happened. You know, why are we even going through this?
We wanted on record their behavior.
Sorry?
We wanted on record that we disapprove of their behavior.
Right. It's almost, as I said, you've got termed a charade. What are we voting for? It's already happened.
To be out there saying that we disapprove of their behavior. Otherwise, then why have a community board at all out here?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can we call the question?
If you're not, you know.
Stephen has his hand up.
I'm sorry, who?
I like what Judy's saying, that we vote on it right now, and let's get it up there and put it on record. Then it should be recommitted to the committee, right, to make a determination as to what should be included in a letter that we should follow up on rather rapidly.
Yes.
Good.
Okay, so the recommendation is to. Are you moving to amend the motion, or are you suggesting we call the question, Steve?
Yes, dear. No, it's still on.
Call the question. This is Joe. Call the question.
I think that's just saying. Call the question. And recommitted to the committee to formulate a strong response with all of our objectives. So call the question, go off the records, and then submit a report.
Well, if I can make a friendly amendment to the motion, is that we deny and send a strongly worded letter to the SLA outlining the history and the objections that have all been discussed this evening. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Right, so we'll,
Yes.
Okay, so we would need a motion on that. So somebody, Judy, you're making that motion. Is someone seconding that?
Joe will.
I'll second.
Okay. Josephine?
Okay, I'll call the roll. Tracy Britton?
In favor.
Jane Kapitanakis?
In favor.
Shirley Chin?
In favor.
Judy Collins?
In favor.
Doris Cruz?
In favor.
Ida D'Amelio?
In favor.
Richard Day?
In favor.
Michael Devine?
In favor.
Ann Falutico? Carmen Feliciano?
In favor.
Michael Festa?
In favor.
Barbara Gurmack?
In favor.
Diane Granardis?
In favor.
Judy Grimaldi?
In favor.
Keith Harrison?
In favor.
Dan Heddix?
In favor.
Justin Hyatt?
In favor.
Habib Judah?
In favor.
Brian Kazuba?
In favor.
Stella Kokolis?
In favor.
Marty Len?
So much noise in the bus sound.
In favor.
Thank you. Nick Leonardos?
In favor.
Iris Muley?
In favor.
Ruth Mazer?
In favor.
Nick Nicolopoulos?
In favor.
Susan Pulaski?
In favor.
Dr. Ramawi?
Yes, in favor.
Stephanie Mahaney?
In favor.
Joe Sokolowski?
In favor.
Larry Stelter?
In favor.
Henry Stewart?
In favor.
Ali Tao? Ali? Jana Tao? Julie Thumb?
In favor.
Sandy Vallis?
Absolutely in favor.
Barbara Bellucci?
In favor.
Lori Willis?
In favor.
Ed Yu?
In favor.
That concludes the roll.
Thank you, Josephine. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Brian?
For all your
Thank you all for listening.
Brian has his hand up.
Thank you. And so we had some zoning and land use subcommittee report that will be distributed with the minutes. I just want to mention there was traffic and transportation committee reports, zoning and land use reports, and some other that were sent out from the March meeting, and those were distributed to you. They were all informational, but please do take a look to keep up. And I want to thank everyone so much for this. This was so fantastic. Everyone so coming together.
Lori?
So I to ask.
Lori, Brian has his hand up.
Brian, are we on old business, new business? Where are we? Go ahead, Brian. Brian?
Gone.
No, nothing. Hello?
Nothing.
The
Okay.
hand has been lowered.
All right, thanks. Okay, so we have old business. Anything anyone to bring up for old business? Anybody? Do we have any hands up, Mark? I can't see.
I don't see any.
No? Okay, new business.
Look at me. No business?
Larry has his hand up.
Yeah. The alternate side parking, is that still going to be suspended until?
Alternate side parking is suspended until April 28th.
Okay, and then they're have to re-emerge because I mean some of the gutters are getting pretty flooded with garbage, particularly.
We are getting complaints about that, but right now it's suspended till April 28th. We will share those complaints, however, with sanitation.
Okay, any other hands?
Has her hand up.
Hi. Hi, two things. Since they are going to be suspending organic and yard waste collection as of May 4th, I would recommend anybody who's got gardening cleanup to get it done before May 4th so it goes in the proper place. And the second, could we get a list of locations for operating food pantries in our communities and where physical contributions and monetary contributions can be made?
Yes.
Okay.
I will email that tomorrow, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I see Carmen has her hand up. Can we?
Hi. I wanted to find out if when we send out the newsletter, if there could be some clarity about having, wearing a mask, because when I'm on Fifth Avenue taking my walks, some stores will say you can't enter without a mask, and then other stores don't have it. But I still see a lot of young people with, no mask, no gloves, like everything's fine. So if there's a way we can even print a poster on the community board website that people can print and post themselves.
Okay. Okay, anybody else have their hand up? Habib?
Hello.
You're muted.
Are you still here?
Muted.
Hello.
I have a question. Could you confirm the composting continues to be picked up until May 4th? Is that correct?
That's correct, Judy. That's correct. Until May 4th.
Because last week they did not pick it up. They left it on the curb and did not take it.
Do you hear me?
That shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
Call me, Judy. I'll make sure that's picked up.
Okay.
Josephine, do you hear me?
I hear you, Steve.
Yeah, I think the Business Improvement District of Fifth Avenue, they are printing such posters to put them up for the mask. The mask is mandatory to get in because of the people inside, so nobody gets infected. And that's, I think, by the mayor.
Okay, great. Thank you, Habib. I'll make sure I get one from Amanda.
Yes.
Okay. Nick?
Just quickly on that topic, we've put up a sign, no more than two people. You can't enter without a mask. And it's just amazing. It's a constant battle with people not following that simple rule. And to the point that, it just, what do you do? What do you do? Do you get higher security? I'm arguing with customers almost every day about this. And in the midst of struggling to keep our doors open and making payroll, you got to argue with some people about simple things, simple rules. So we could put all the signs we want, but the people are just not taking this serious. And they're hanging out on Fifth Avenue, on Third Avenue. It's all over the place.
That's right. I agree with Nick.
We're giving out masks. We're giving out masks for those that don't have it, and they still don't take it serious.
No.
So,
It stresses that everyone has to do their part to protect everyone else. Any other hands up? Okay.
I don't see any.
Okay, so we have no further new business, and so can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I think we have enough. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Bye.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Everybody stay safe. Everybody stay safe.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Say bye-bye, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Bye.
Doing this
Want to say
together.
bye-bye?
Together.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Now we're meeting then, right?
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you, Josephine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
You leave the meeting?